After the Buddha mother had pardoned him, she decreed that he should be punished by being separated from his mate for 3 years, and that his body should be inflicted with the illness of yearning. At the time, I was writing this wolf when I heard the sentence pronounced. Little did I realize that this cursed beast would remember it and come here to abduct the queen and dispel calamity for the king. It has been 3 years now, and his preordained chastisement has been fulfilled. You are to be thanked for arriving to heal the king, and I've come especially to bring the fiend to submission. Bodhisattva, said Pilgrim. The story may go like this, but he has also defiled the queen, corrupted the customs, upset the relations, and perverted the law. He is worthy of death. Now that you have arrived in person, I shall spare his life, but not his living punishment. Let me give him 20 strokes of my rod, and then you may take him away. Wukong, said the Bodhisattva. If you appreciate my epiphany, then you must, for my sake, grant him a plenary pardon. This will be considered entirely your merit, that of bringing the fiend to submission. If you raise your rod, he will be dead. As he dared not disobey, Pilgrim had no choice but to bow and say, after the Bodhisattva has taken him back to South Sea, he must not be permitted to return in secret to the human world again, for he can cause a lot of harm. Only then did the Bodhisattva cry out, Cursed beast! If you don't return to your origin now, when will you do so? Rolling once on the ground, the fiend immediately appeared in his original form. As he shook out his furry coat, the Bodhisattva mounted his back, only to discover with one look that the 3 bells beneath his collar were nowhere to be seen. Wukong, said the Bodhisattva. Return my bells. Old monkey doesn't know anything about bells, replied Pilgrim. You thievish ape, snapped the Bodhisattva. If you hadn't succeeded in stealing the bells, even 10 of you would not be able to approach him. Bring them out quickly. But really, I haven't seen them, chuckled Pilgrim. In that case, said the Bodhisattva, allow me to recite the tight fillet spell a little. At once alarmed, Pilgrim could only mutter, Don't recite. Don't recite. The bells are here. Thus it is that. From the wolf's collar, who'll untie the bells? The one untying asks the one who ties. After the Bodhisattva had slipped the bells back onto the collar of the wolf, she mounted his back again. Look at him. Beneath his 4 legs lotus blossoms grow. O'er all his body thick golden threads glow. The great compassion went back to South Sea, where we shall leave her. We tell you instead about the great sage Sun who, having tightened his kilt, wielded the iron rod to fight his way into the cave of the mythic beast and slew all the rest of the fiends. Then he went into the palace to beckon the Lady Golden Sage Palace to return to her country. The lady could not have been more grateful after Pilgrim gave her a thorough account of how the Bodhisattva had brought the fiend to submission, and why she had to be separated from her mate. Then Pilgrim found some grass that he tied together to make a straw dragon. Madam, he said, climb on this and close your eyes. Don't be afraid. I'm taking you back to court to see your lord. The lady followed his instruction as Pilgrim began to exercise his magic power. All she heard was the sound of the wind. In the period of half an hour, they arrived at the capital. As they dropped from the clouds, he said, Madam, please open your eyes. The queen opened her eyes, and at once those dragon towers and phoenix bowers, which she readily recognized, gave her immense delight. She abandoned the straw dragon to ascend the treasure hall with Pilgrim. When the king saw her, he hurried down from the dragon couch. Taking the hand of the lady, he wanted to tell her how much he missed her when all of a sudden, he fell to the ground crying, Oh my hand! It hurts! It hurts! 8 Rules broke out in loud guffaws, saying, Oh dear! You just don't have the luck to enjoy her. The moment you see her you are smitten to death. Idiot! Said Pilgrim. You dare give her a tug? What'll happen if I do? Asked 8 Rules. Pilgrim said, The lady's body is covered with poisonous prickles, and her hands are full of vicious stings. since she reached the Unicorn Mountain these 3 years, that fiend Jupiter's rival has never claimed her body. For the moment he touched her, his body or his hands would be pained. On hearing this, the various officials exclaimed, "What shall we do?" So the officials outside the court became vexed, and the ladies of the palace, too, were alarmed. Meanwhile, Jade Sage and Silver Sage, the 2 other consorts, helped the ruler to his feet. As they stood there in confusion, they heard someone calling out in midair, "Great Sage, I've arrived." Pilgrim raised his head to look, and he heard majestic crane cries in the sky. As someone drifted down to court, auspicious radiance encircling, creative auras tremulous, a core and grass coat wrapped in cloud and mist. He trod straw sandals rarely seen. He held a fly swat of rushes, a silk sash wound around his waist. Throughout the world he had formed human ties. Footloose, he roamed all the great earth. This was the great heaven's immortal purple cloud, bringing salvation this day to earth. Going forward to meet him, Pilgrim said, "Zhang Ziyang, where are you going?" The realized immortal Ziyang went before the court and bowed, saying, "Great Sage, this humble immortal Zhang Boduan raises my hand to salute you." Returning his bow, Pilgrim said, "Where have you come from?" The realized immortal said, 3 years ago, I was on my way to a Buddha festival when I passed through this region. When I saw that the king was destined to be separated from his mate, I feared that the fiend might defile the queen and upset the human relations, so that afterwards it would be difficult for the king and queen to be reunited. I therefore changed an old core coat of mine into a new shining robe, radiant in 5 colors, to present to the fiend king, as an addition to the queen's wardrobe. The moment when she put it on, poisonous prickles sprouted on her body, but actually those prickles were the transformation of the core coat. Now that I have learned of the great sage's success, I have come to bring deliverance. In that case, said Pilgrim, we are indebted to you for coming from such a great distance. Please deliver her, quickly. The realized immortal walked forward and pointed at the lady with his finger. Immediately, the core coat came off and the lady's entire body was smooth as before. Shaking out the coat, the realized immortal draped it over himself and said to Pilgrim, I beg your pardon, great sage, for this humble immortal must take leave of you. Please wait for a moment, replied Pilgrim, and allow the ruler to thank you. No need, said the immortal, laughing. He gave a long bow and rose into the air. The king, the queen, and all the officials were so astonished that they all bowed toward the sky. Thereafter, the king gave the order for the eastern hall to be opened in order that the 4 priests might be thanked with a huge banquet. After the king led his subjects to kowtow to the pilgrims, he was reunited with his wife. As they drank merrily, Pilgrim said, Master, take out that declaration of war. The elder took it out from his sleeve to hand over to Pilgrim, who passed it to the king and said, This document was to be sent here by a junior officer of the fiend. The officer had been beaten to death by me at first, and I took him here to announce my merit. When I went back to the mountain afterwards, I changed into the form of the officer to get inside the cave. That was how I got to see the lady. After I succeeded in stealing the golden bells, I was almost caught by the fiend. Then I had to undergo transformation to steal the bells again. When he fought with me, it was my fortune that the Bodhisattva Guanyin arrived and brought him to submission. She also told me of the reason why you and your queen had to be separated. After he gave a thorough account of what had taken place, the king and all his subjects were full of gratitude and praise. It was the great good fortune of a worthy ruler in the first place, said the Tang monk. And it was also the merit of our humble disciple. This lavish banquet you have given us is perfection indeed. We must bow to take leave of you now. Do not delay this humble cleric's journey to the west. Having failed to persuade the priests to stay longer, even with earnest pleading, the king had the rescript certified. Then he asked the Tang monk to take a seat in the imperial chariot, while he and his consorts pushed it with their own hands to send the pilgrim out of the capital before they parted. Truly, with affinity, your anxious ailments purged. Without thought or desire, your minds at peace. As they go forth, we do not know what sort of good or evil will befall them. Let's listen to the explanation in the next chapter.